माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरवनचारी। यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरवनचारी। यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम Ram Rama Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Subhadramai Jaya Sudarshana Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की श्री प्रभुपाद की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रहे Hare Krishna, welcome you all. This morning we'll be discussing from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse number 36. Vyavahita-pṛtanā-mukhaṁ nirīkṣya sva-jana-vadhād vimukhasya doṣa-buddhyā kumatim aharad ātma-vidyayā yaha caraṇa-ratiḥ paramasya tasya me astu vyavahita-pṛtanā-mukhaṁ nirīkṣya sva-jana-vadhād vimukhasya doṣa-buddhyā kumatim aharad ātma-vidyayā caraṇa-ratiḥ paramasya tasya mestu vyavahita-pṛtanā-mukhaṁ nirīkṣya sva-jana-vadhād vimukhasya doṣa-buddhyā kumatim aharad ātma-vidyayā चरणरते paramasya tasya mestu vyavahita-pṛtanā-mukhaṁ nirīkṣya sva-jana-vadhād vimukhasya doṣa-buddhyā kumatim महरद ātma-vidyayā चरणरत परमस्य tasya mestu. Please recite. vyavahita-pṛtanā-mukhaṁ Anyone else? vyavahita-pṛtanā-mukhaṁ nirīkṣya sva-jana-vadhād vimukhasya doṣa-buddhyā kumatim aharad ātma-vidyayā caraṇa-ratiḥ paramasya tasya mestu. vyavahita-pṛtanā-mukhaṁ nirīkṣya sva-jana-vadhād vimukhasya doṣa-buddhyā kumatim aharad ātma-vidyayā caraṇa-ratiḥ paramasya tasya mestu. vyavahita-pṛtanā-mukhaṁ nirīkṣya sva-jana-vadhād vimukhasya doṣa-buddhyā kumatim aharad ātma-vidyayā caraṇa-ratiḥ paramasya tasya mestu. Word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Vyavahita, standing at a distance. Pṛtanā, soldiers. Mukham, faces. Nirīkṣya, by looking upon. Sva-jana, kinsmen. Vadhāt, from the act of killing. Vimukhasya, one who is reluctant. Doṣa-buddhyā, by polluted intelligence. Kumatim, poor fund of knowledge. Aharad, eradicated. Ātma-vidyayā, by transcendental knowledge. Yaha, he who. Caraṇa, to the feet. Ratiḥ, attraction. Paramasya, of the Supreme. Tasya, for him. Me, my. Astu, let there be. Translation. When Arjuna was seemingly polluted by ignorance upon observing the soldiers and commanders before him on the battlefield, the Lord eradicated his ignorance by delivering transcendental knowledge. May his lotus feet always remain the object of my attraction. Purport. The kings and the commanders were to stand in the front of the fighting soldiers. That was the system of actual fighting. The kings and commanders were not so-called presidents or ministers of defense as they are today. They would not stay home while the poor soldiers or mercenaries were fighting face to face. This may be the regulation of modern democracy. But when actual monarchy was prevailing, the monarchs were not cowards, elected without consideration of qualification, As it was evident from the battlefield of Kurukshetra, all the executive heads of both parties like Drona, Bhishma, Arjuna, and Duryodhana were not sleeping. All of them were actual participants in the fighting, which was selected to be executed at a place away from the civil residential quarters. This means that the innocent citizens were immune from all effects of fighting between the rival royal parties. The citizens had no business in seeing what was going on to happen during such fighting. They were to pay one fourth of their income to the ruler, whether he be Arjuna or Duryodhana. All the commanders of the parties on the battlefield of Kurukshetra were standing face to face, and Arjuna saw them with great compassion and lamented that he was to kill his kinsmen on the battlefield for the sake of the empire. He was not at all afraid of the giant military phalanx presented by Duryodhana, but as a merciful devotee of the Lord, renunciation of worldly things was natural for him, and thus he decided not to fight for worldly possessions. But this was due to a poor fund of knowledge, and therefore it is said here that his intelligence became polluted. His intelligence could not be polluted at any time because he was a devotee and constant companion of the Lord, as is clear in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. What is that verse? 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Lord, Arjuna is devotee and companion. Full verse. Huh? Very good. Sa evayam maya tedya yogam bhakta puratana bhakto sime saka cheti rahasyam hi etaduttamam. Apparently, Arjuna's intelligence became polluted because otherwise there would not have been a chance to deliver the teachings of Bhagavad Gita for the good of all polluted conditioned souls engaged in material bondage by the conception of the false material body. The Bhagavad Gita was delivered to the conditioned souls of the world to deliver them from the wrong conception of identifying the body with the soul and to re-establish the soul's eternal relation with the Supreme Lord. Ātma-vidyayā or transcendental knowledge of himself was primarily spoken by the Lord for the benefit of all concerned in all parts of the universe. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvise Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So it is coincidence. Tomorrow is Gita Jayanti And today Bhishma Dev is speaking about Bhagavad Gita. So, Bhishma Dev, he is speaking to the Pandavas, and Lord Krishna is present there. He's glorifying Lord Krishna's position. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhav ki jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Yesterday we heard from His Grace Kamalochan Prabhu everything about Bhishma, how confusing is the character of Bhishma. No one can tell what exactly is Bhishma. Is he right? Is he wrong? Is moral, immoral? Nothing. No one can exactly say about Bhishma. And he himself says, I cannot, he himself says, I am confused. In some cases we have seen when Draupadi was insulted. So here Bhishma is saying that Arjuna was put into ignorance, and Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, transcendental knowledge, to deliver Arjuna from ignorance. We all know Arjuna, he saw the Guru elders, his gurus, his family members. Bhagavad Gita, first chapter, it comes. He says, I will not fight. I will go to the forest. I live as a beggar. All those things he was speaking. So, Prabhupada writes in the purport, a devotee never goes into ignorance, because a devotee is always a pure devotee, actual devotee, is always on the spiritual platform. He is not touched by any modes, sattva-guna, rajo-guna, tamo-guna. Ignorance represents which mode? Ignorance is symptom of which mode? Ignorance is tamo-guna, right? Tamo-guna. That means sleepy, mad, unaware, lazy, crazy is ignorance. So Krishna, wantedly he had put Arjuna in ignorance so that he can speak Bhagavad Gita for the rest of the world. For the benefit of the world, he can speak Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada very nicely writes in the purport that in the war, in the olden times, the troops were headed by the kings. The kings would be standing in the front to fight the war. And Prabhupada compares this with the modern day war. They are sitting in their offices and the soldiers are fighting on the border. Even we see 100-200 years back, when the wars happened, the kings would be in the front line to lead the troops. Now we all know the war is going on in Ukraine, Russia, Russia attacking Ukraine, Ukraine attacking Russia. And those days war was only between soldiers. They would not throw any bombs on the innocent public. Now Prabhupada writes that nowadays the war means people, the countries, they put bombs on the innocent public. Now we have seen so many innocent people are being killed. In Ukraine, you see, they are putting bombs on the hospitals, they are putting bombs on the residential areas, apartments. And not only that, they are destroying the oil tanks, petrol tanks, diesel tanks, food storages. So this is complete loss of intelligence. There are no rules, there are no regulations. In the current modern scenario, the fighting. But in olden days, even fighting between two Kshatriyas, in the daytime they would fight. But in the night time they would come, they would meet each other. And they would serve even food to each other. If the enemy comes into their tent, into their camp, they would serve. They would welcome him. They would serve him nicely, speak sweet words, because he is the guest. He is the guest in that way. And the fight would be only in the daytime, from sunrise to sunset. Once sunset, then they give up the arms and they go back to the tents. And there are a lot of rules. If a Kshatriya has to kill another Kshatriya in fighting, he can only fight if the opposite person is having a weapon in his hand. If he doesn't have weapon, he cannot attack. Seeing that, he doesn't have weapon, now let me kill him. That was Kshatriya rule. To fight, the opposite person should have weapon in his hand. And the opposite person should be equally powerful. It's not very senior person is fighting with a new soldier, a very young soldier. No, because that strength doesn't match. So that was one rule. And if one Kshatriya is fighting with another Kshatriya, and suppose A is fighting with B, now B is in trouble. A is very powerful now, he is shooting lot of arrows and all. Now B went into trouble. Okay. Now some other C person can come and help B, come onto his side and help B, but not strike A from somewhere hiddenly. That is also one rule. Another person in that group, opposite group, he can save B, provided that he come in front and fight with A and support B, but not hiddenly, secretly, somewhere behind the tree and somewhere without seeing, shooting. So like that, there are many rules are there. Unfortunately, nowadays fighting, there is all these rules are not followed. It's Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga means everything is degraded, no rules, no regulations. So in this way, Krishna, he wanted to give this knowledge to the rest of the world, keeping Arjuna in ignorance. Actually, Arjuna was not in ignorance, but Krishna had put him in ignorance. So as Gita Jayanti is coming, so I thought to read some shlokas on glorification of Bhagavad Gita. So there are two important series of shlokas which was written by Adi Shankaracharya. Actually, before Adi Shankaracharya, Bhagavad Gita was not very famous. Before Adi Shankaracharya, it was all Vedas, people were doing karma kanda, going to heaven. They were more ritualistic. Bhagavad Gita became famous after Shankaracharya. He established Vedic authority of the Vedas and told Bhagavad Gita is also one of the Upanishads, Gita Upanishad. There are 1130 Upanishads, right? 108 important in that. In that, Bhagavad Gita is not Upanishad, but Shankaracharya told Bhagavad Gita is Upanishad because it contains the essence of all the Vedic literatures. So, we'll read a few shlokas. This is called Gita Mahatmya. This is there in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita also, Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. While distributing Bhagavad Gitas, you can also quote these verses. What happens if he reads Bhagavad Gita? Now, where will be his destination? Like that. Okay, please recite. Gita Shastramidam Punyam Ya Pathet Prayata Puman Vishnu Padam Avapnoti Bhaya Shokadi Varjitaha. Please read.
Which is the bestower of all virtue, will attain to a holy abode such as Vaikuntha, the residence of Lord Vishnu, which is always free from the mundane qualities based on fear and lamentation.
If you read Bhagavad Gita, every day, recite the verses with devotion. So then he will get all the good qualities and then he will go back to Godhead, Vaikuntha. Gita-dhyayana shilasya pranayama parasya cha naiva santihi papani purvajanma kritani cha. Is right?
If one reads Bhagavad Gita very sincerely and with all seriousness, then by the grace of the Lord, the reactions of his past misdeeds will not act upon him.
If one reads Bhagavad Gita very seriously, sincerely, then all your karma is vanished. Whatever past bad, sinful reactions are there, everything will get vanished. They will not act upon you. You will become Mukta Purusha. You will become free, liberated soul. Maline mochanam pumsam jalasnanam dine dine sakrit gitamritasnanam samsaramalanashanam.
One may cleanse himself daily by taking a bath in water, but if one takes a bath even once in the sacred Ganges water of Bhagavad Gita, for him the dirt of material life is altogether vanquished.
So one may cleanse his body by taking water bath. But how to cleanse the mind which is full of sinful thoughts, lusty desires, greed, anarthas? So how we can clean the mind? Where is that water to clean the mind? So that is the sacred Ganges water of Bhagavad Gita. So for him all the dirt of material life, it will be vanquished. Gita sugita kartavya kim manyai shastra vistarai ya swayam padmanabhasya mukha padmadvinishrita. Please read.
Because Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one need not read any other Vedic literature. One need only attentively and regularly hear and read Bhagavad Gita. In the present age, people are so absorbed in mundane activities that it is not possible for them to read all the Vedic literature. But this is not necessary. This one book, Bhagavad Gita, will suffice because it is the essence of all Vedic literatures, and especially because it is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Because it is spoken by Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is nothing greater than this book, Bhagavad Gita. Because he has spoken, so he will speak. Because Krishna, Lord, is absolute, so whatever he speaks is also absolute. So that means it is having complete knowledge. So if you read one book, Bhagavad Gita, then you need not, you will get all the knowledge, everything. So one should attentively read and hear Bhagavad Gita. Bharatamrita sarvasvam Vishnu Vaktrat Vinishrutam Gita Gangodakam Pitva Punarjanmana Vidyate.
The Ganges water of the Gita, the divine quintessence of the Mahabharata emanating from the holy lotus mouth of the Lord Vishnu, one will never take rebirth in the material world again. In other words, by devotionally reciting the Gita, the cycle of birth and death is terminated.
So by reading, hearing Bhagavad Gita, one will be freed from the cycle of Janma Mrityu. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. He will be freed because this is the greatest problem of a human being, of a jiva, is that we are stuck in the cycle of birth and death. So any time death can happen. That is the nature of the world. So just think, okay, death can happen anytime. What is my consciousness now? Where I am now, standing, what is my level? So where will I go if the death comes now? Where will I go now? So whenever we get any, we fall, any problem that we face in this world, some physical problem or mental problem, any problem, just think, what will happen if I leave my body now? Where will I go? My consciousness is still not purified. We are just happy every day, in our materialistic world. But just that thought makes us conscious, alert. Okay, I have to be serious, not just waste time. So one who reads here Bhagavad Gita, drinks the nectar of Bhagavad Gita, he will be freed from the cycle of birth and death. Once I was hearing class in Vrindavan, Guru Kripa Prabhu, he was giving class, saying, the devotees nowadays, they are so busy with mobile, with gadgets, laptop, they don't know Bhagavad Gita shlokas. You are so busy with mobile. Do you know 700 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita? He was asking everyone, how many of you know? So actually it is a duty of a devotee, it's our duty to read Gita again and again. There is one disciple of Prabhupada, Prahaladananda Swami. He read Bhagavad Gita 150 times. 150 times he read Bhagavad Gita. When he came to Juhu in GBC meetings time, all GBC members, they were giving classes. So Prahaladananda Swami was giving class. Bhakticharu Swami Maharaj, he told, isn't it? You remember? At that time 150, now 170. 170 times read Bhagavad Gita. Just say. Actually, we think, at Gita, I know everything, soul, karma, all this only know. Can you give them a course on Bhagavad Gita, if you know everything? You give a course to on Bhagavad Gita. So then our mind starts functioning. So actually, it takes many years to become expert. Gita is unlimited. How you can become expert? You cannot become expert. What we know is, we can know is few drops. So actually our life is meant for that. We should read Gita again and again, hear Gita again and again. This is so nectarian, Bhagavad Gita is. Sarva Upanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopala Nandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitam Mritam Mahad.
All the Upanishads are like a cow, and the milker of the cow is Sri Krishna, son of Nanda. Arjuna is the calf, the beautiful nectar of the Gita is the milk, and the fortunate devotees of fine theistic intellect are the drinkers and enjoyers of that milk.
Very beautiful comparison. Cow is all the Upanishads. The milk from the cow, milk is the essence of the cow. So the essence of all the Upanishads is Bhagavad Gita. And one who is milking the cow is extracting milk from the the milkman is extracting milk from the cow. That is Krishna extracting Bhagavad Gita from the Upanishads. And the first, the milk is drunk by the calf, for the first time. So the Bhagavad Gita was taken by Arjuna. And after the milk is taken by calf, the remaining milk is given to the public. So similarly, after Arjuna heard Bhagavad Gita, and after that, we all are drinking that nectar. Ekam shastram devaki putra geetam eko devo devaki putra eva eko mantras tasya namani yani karmapi ekam tasya devasya seva.
Hare Krishna. There need be only one holy scripture, the divine Gita sung by Lord Krishna, Lord Sri Krishna. Only one worshipable Lord, Lord Sri Krishna. Only one mantra, his holy names. And only one duty, devotional service unto the supreme worshipable Lord Sri Krishna.
So let there be only one scripture. Actually, all this, the other religion like Islam, Christianity, they say our book is the only book. But about Bhagavad Gita, the only book was told by Shankaracharya hundreds of years back. Almost in the 7th century, 1500 years back only he told. Let there be only one book for the entire world. That is Bhagavad Gita. Let there be only one God, worshipable God, Lord Krishna. Only one mantra, the chanting of His holy names. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Karmapi ekam tasya devasya. Let there be only one work, one service. That is the duty, that is the service, the devotional service unto the Supreme Worshipful Lord Krishna. So in this way, there are a few shlokas on Gita Mahatmya, and there are few more shlokas glorifying Bhagavad Gita, also written by Shankaracharya. This is called Gita Dhyanam. Is it visible? Visible? Little more. Visible? Visible? So these are also very beautiful shlokas. In South India they sing these shlokas so much. Okay. Now I will recite. You may also try to recite. Om Pathaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharate Advaitaamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Manusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavatveshinim. Someone want to try? Okay, we'll recite one more time together. Om पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारते अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीमष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्. You will be surprised to know Prabhupada wrote this poem in one of his books. You know what it is? You know which book it is? This whole poem, 7-8 poems are there in this. There is one book of Prabhupada. Very good. Signs of Self-Realization. So I will read the translation from there. Okay? There is a chapter called Discovering the Roots, the Immortal Nectar of Bhagavad Gita, from the Signs of Self-Realization. Okay? Through the centuries, India's greatest philosophers and spiritualists have praised the Bhagavad Gita as the distilled essence of the eternal Vedic wisdom. In his meditations on the Bhagavad Gita, versified here, the renowned 6th century philosopher Shankara glorifies the Gita and its divine author Sri Krishna. Although universally celebrated as an impersonalist, here Shankara reveals his devotion to the original personal form of God, Lord Sri Krishna, and Srila Prabhupada elucidates. Actually, in this English version of Science of Self-Realization, you will find the poem in this way. O Bhagavad Gita, through thy 18 chapters, you will find like this. But if you go to Hindi version of SSR, you will find the shlokas. The shlokas which we recited now, all shlokas you will find in the Hindi version of SSR. If you have here, you can check also on the table. So we will read the translation, purport. Okay? Anyone? Mike?
Sripad Shankaracharya was an impersonalist from the materialistic point of view, but he never denied the spiritual form known as Sachinandan Vigraha, or the eternal all-blissful form of knowledge that existed before the material creation. When he spoke of Supreme Brahman as impersonal, he meant that the Lord Sachinandan form was not to be confused with a material conception of personality. In the very beginning of his commentary on the Gita, he maintains that Narayana, the Supreme Lord, is transcendental to the material creation. The Lord existed before the creation as the transcendental personality, and he has nothing to do with material personality. Lord Krishna is the same Supreme Personality, and he has no connection with a material body. He descends in his spiritual eternal form, but foolish people mistake his body to be like ours. Shankara's preaching of impersonalism is especially meant for teaching foolish persons who consider Krishna to be an ordinary man composed of matter. No one would care to read the Gita if it had been spoken by a material man. And certainly Vyasadeva would not have bothered to incorporate it into the history of Mahabharata. According to the above verses, Mahabharata is the history of the ancient world, and Vyasadeva is the writer of this great epic. The Bhagavad Gita is identical with Krishna, and because Krishna is the absolute supreme personality of Godhead, there is no difference between Krishna and his words. Therefore, the Bhagavad Gita is as worshipable as Lord Krishna himself. Both being absolute, one who hears the Bhagavad Gita as is actually hears the words directly from the lotus lips of the Lord. But unfortunate persons say that the Gita is too antiquated for the modern man who wants to find out God by
So,
speculation of meditation.
in this verse, in this poem, actually, if you read this translation, no? I mean, the English version, you will understand exact meaning. O Bhagavad Gita, through your 18 chapters, you shower upon man, I mean, I will read in simple way, okay, it is a Shakespeare English. You shower upon man the immortal nectar of the wisdom of the Absolute. O blessed Gita, by you, Lord Krishna himself enlightened Arjuna. Afterwards, the ancient sage Vyasa included you in the Mahabharata. O loving mother, actually, Bhagavad Gita is also having one Adhisthana Devata. She has 18 hands because Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. O loving mother, destroyer of man's rebirth into the darkness of the mortal world, upon you I meditate. Salutations to you, O Vyasa, your art of mighty intellect and your eyes. So here he is glorifying Bhagavad Gita as a Devi with 18 hands. Ashtadasha-dhyayane. We'll go next. Namostu te vyasa vishala buddhe fullaravindayata-pṛtanā-mukhaṁ yena tvaya bharata tailapurnaha prajvalito jnanamaya pradipa. Namostu te vyasa vishala buddhe fullaravindayata-pṛtanā-mukhaṁ yena tvaya bharata tailapurnaha prajvalito jnanamaya pradipaha. So here he is saying, salutations to Vyasa. Now actually this is the verse which is, we can say, pranam mantra for Vyasadeva. Suppose you happen to meet Vyasadeva at any deity or any photo, you can chant this shloka. It is a shloka glorifying Vyasadeva. So, salutations, obeisances to Vyasa, who has Vishala Buddhi. That means who has enormous, immense intelligence. Fullaravinda yatapatra-netra. His eyes are like blossom lotus petals. Like how Krishna's eyes are like this, like a petal. So like that Vyasa also eyes are like lotus petals. Yena tvaya bharata tailapurna. Who has filled up the oil to the lamp of Mahabharata. Just like Mahabharata is a lamp, okay, and with a oil. The lamp has a stand and there is oil inside. But what is the use without light? So there should be wick and light, no? So that light is Bhagavad Gita. Who has filled up the oil to the lamp of Mahabharata and lightened it to pinpoint wisdom. Actually, Bhagavad Gita was Mahabharata happened or was written. Only the purpose was to give Bhagavad Gita. That's why it is kept in between. Because generally in this world, people are interested in dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Materialistic things first, not spiritual things. So that's why in Mahabharata, so if you tell spiritual things, people will go away. So in Mahabharata, first it is all worldly things. What happened in the family, how the brothers are fighting, how one kingdom is attacking other kingdom, capturing them, all these things. First 9 parvas are that only. Then in the 9th parva comes Bhagavad Gita and the Bhishma parva, middle. So that while hearing all these stories, people will hear Bhagavad Gita. But what people do when they read Mahabharata, when the Bhagavad Gita comes, they turn the pages and go to next parva. Because they feel it is boring. But actually Mahabharata is like the lamp, but the light from that lamp is Bhagavad Gita. Prapanna parijataya totra vetraika panaye jnana mudraya krishnaya gītāmrita duhe namaha. Prapanna parijataya totra vetraika panaye jnana mudraya krishnaya gītāmrita duhe namaha. So here Lord Krishna is glorified. How he is glorified? Prapanna, that means I am offering my respects, obeisances to parijataya. This Krishna is referred to here as parijata. Parijata tree, is a wish fulfilling tree. Totra vetraika panaya, who holds a cane to drive the cattle. I mean, he is the charioteer. So he is holding what? He is holding a cane, stick, to drive the horses. Totra vetraika panaya. And jnana mudraya krishnaya. So what mudra Krishna is keeping when he gave Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna? Jnana mudra. How is that mudra? You saw Bhagavad Gita photo like this. Two fingers down, 2 fingers up like this. You see the photo Bhagavad Gita, how Krishna is putting the hand. Gītāmrita duhe namah. So through Arjuna, he is giving the nectar of Bhagavad Gita. Few more slokas. Sarvopanishad, this we have sang. Vasudeva sutam devam kamsachanuramardanam devaki paramanandam krishnam vande jagadgurum. Vasudeva sutam devam kamsachanuramardanam devaki paramanandam krishnam vande jagadgurum. Saying that I am offering my obeisances to Krishna, who is the Jagadguru, who is the teacher of the world. And he is Vasudeva Sutta, he is the son of Vasudeva. He is the killer of Kamsa, Chanura, Mustika and all the demons. And Devaki Paramanandam, he is the one who gives the divine joy to Mother Devaki. Okay. Bhishma-drona tata jayadrata jhala gandhari nilotpala. Recite. Bhishma-drona tata jayadrata jhala gandhari nilotpala. Shalyagrahavati kripena vahini karnena velakula. शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण महिनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी घोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवार्णवदि कैवर्तककेशवः सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवार्णवनदि कैवर्तककेशवः So here the Mahabharata scene, he is describing the scene of Mahabharata. How Bhishma and Drona are like the two banks of a river. The two banks of a river, two sides. Jayadratha was the water and Gandhari Nilotpala. Shakuni, who is the king of Gandhara, was the blue lotus in that river. Okay. Shalyagrahavati. Shalya was the crocodile in that river. Kripena Vahini. Kripa is the tide, the water tide. Karna is Velakula. That means the mighty wave. Karna was the mighty wave. And Ashwathama and Vikarna are the dangerous alligators. Alligators, they are also one type of like sharks, maybe bigger than sharks actually. They are the alligators. And Duryodhana was the whirlpool. Whirlpool, like sometimes even a big ship, if it enters a whirlpool, it will go inside. It happened once. One ship was going from Bhadrachalam to Rajamandri in Godavari river. There was a turning. And the turning, the water was so much rotating whirlpool, and the ship went inside. 100 people died. Ship went inside. Boat. And Sottirna Khalu Pandavar Navanadi. So, and the Pandavas crossed the river of war. This is Pandavar Navanadi. The Pandavas crossed this river of war, Kaivartaka Keshava, with Krishna as the captain of the boat. So they are all sitting in the boat, Pandavas. They crossed this river of war. The war is compared to a river. You are understanding analogy? The war is compared to a river. And Pandavas has to cross this river of war. But the captain, and who is the captain? The Krishna is the captain. And without Krishna, certainly they would have never won war. Like Arjuna took the bow to kill Jayadratha. I told this story last time. If I don't kill Jayadratha, I will commit suicide. I will enter into fire, he said. And Kauravas were very happy. And they protected all the forces they put around Jayadratha. All the generals, all the big Maharathis, Drona, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, and all the Duryodhana, everyone was protecting Jayadratha. And the war went till evening time, just half an hour before sunset. Just even half an hour before sunset, Arjuna just could reach to the boundary of where this Jayadratha was staying. And at that time it is completely impossible to cross over the army and to reach Jayadratha. Miles and miles distance of troops. Miles and miles. That day Arjuna fought and crossed 20 miles of troops to reach Jayadratha. From starting, from sunrise till sunset, 20 miles of troops he was attacking and defeating and reaching Jayadratha. Then, just half an hour, almost getting set. Now Krishna thought, no, this is impossible. And he just sent Sudarshan Chakra and covered the sun. And everyone thought, arey, now sunset. Everyone are clapping and they gave up the arms. When they gave up the arms, everyone went here and there. And Jayadratha standed on the top of his chariot. And now Arjuna will enter into the fire. He will kill himself. As soon as everyone left their arms, their weapons, and Jayadratha sat, Krishna removed the disc. Within 15-20 minutes, only little time was there. Immediately, Arjuna shooted. And Krishna told, you shoot in such a way, this fellow has got a bone. Anyone who puts his head on the ground, the killer also will die. So you put his head in such a way, it will fall onto the father's lap. Just see, he cut the head, and father is not sitting in Kurukshetra, he is sitting in somewhere in Kashmir. He is doing meditation there on the Himalayas. And his head went and fell on the lap of his father. And immediately he was frightened and thrown on the ground. And he also blasted into pieces. So that without Krishna, nothing is impossible. Karna was having a very great weapon called Shakti weapon. When, Karna was having this natural armor, so Indra came in disguise as a Brahmana to ask this Kavacha, right? So he gave Kavacha, but in return Indra gave a very powerful weapon called Shakti weapon. And that Shakti weapon is so powerful that it is invested with the power of Brahma. It's a very powerful weapon. Even demigods could not face that. So Karna thought to use this weapon on Arjuna and kill Arjuna. He would have killed actually Arjuna with that weapon. But Krishna saved. How Krishna saved Arjuna? Krishna, he sent Ghatotkacha to fight with Karna. And Ghatotkacha is the son of Bhima. And he is in the Rakshasa line. Because Bhima and Hidimbi, son is Ghatotkacha. And with all his Rakshasa influence and illusions and everything, he fought with Karna, defeated killed so many troops of Karna. Finally, everyone told Karna, Ghatotkacha is now, we cannot defeat him, we cannot kill him. You use this Shakti weapon. Otherwise, he will kill you, he will kill all our troops. And Karna, he forgot, I have to use this Shakti weapon on Arjuna. He forgot that weapon. And then he shooted at Ghatotkacha and Ghatotkacha killed. And that weapon went back to Indra. So now there is no Shakti weapon. Now Arjuna is free. Now Karna cannot defeat Arjuna. So then when Ghatotkacha died, Krishna was very happy. Everyone was sad because Ghatotkacha is the son of Bhima. So their own son, Pandava's own son died. So Pandavas all were crying. But Krishna was laughing. Everyone was, Arjuna asked, Hare Krishna, why are you laughing? Our son died. Like Abhimanyu, another son died, Ghatotkacha. Why are you laughing? I am not able to understand. Krishna said, Arjuna, you don't know. This Shakti weapon is so powerful, it is meant to kill you. But the arrangement is made that Ghatotkacha go to, killed, he will be killed, and you will be saved. So that you are the one who is going to win over the army. You are the one who will bring victory. So then Arjuna asked, okay Krishna, but all these days, why Karna did not use this weapon on me? Almost 15 days over. All these 15 days, why Karna did not use Shakti weapon on me? So Krishna said, Karna was always thinking to use this weapon on you. But it is me who is taking the chariot far away from Karna and protecting you so that he is busy with some other troops. So without Krishna, nothing is possible. They would not win only. So it is only Krishna who made the Pandavas to cross over this war. Parasharya vachas sarojamamalam Gītārtha gandhotkatam पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानाख्यानककेशरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् नानाख्यानककेशरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसनं श्रेयसे भूयाद्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसनं श्रेयसे So like the lotus flower of Mahabharata, which arose from the water, which are the words of the son of Parashara. Mahabharata was written by Vyasadeva. So who is the son of Parashara? Parashara Vacha, that means spoken by Parashara's Parasharya. Parashara is sage, Parashara is son of Parashara. That means Vyasadeva. And which has the pollen grains of different stories. Like lotus have pollens, right? So Mahabharata is like lotus flower and it has pollen grains of different stories, which is taught in the form of stories of Lord Vishnu. Harikatha Sambodhita, Nanakyanaka Kesaram. Varieties of stories about Lord Vishnu. Loke Sajjana Shatpadai Raharaha Pepiyamanam Muda. And this Mahabharata is drunk by the honeybee of very good people. Sajjana, Sajjan Vyakti, Sajjan people, they drink this honey, honey of Mahabharata. The honey, just like the honeybee drinks honey from the lotus, similarly Sajjan Vyaktis, good people, they drink this nectar from the lotus of Mahabharata. What is that nectar? It's all about Krishna, stories of Krishna. Bhuyad Bharata Pankajam Kalimala Pradhamsinam Shreyasi. Help those who want to remove the ills of Kali Yuga. So, this by drinking this, what happens? The Kalimala, the impurities in this age of Kali Yuga will be vanished. One who drinks this nectar. Mukham karoti vachalam Pangum langhayate girim Yatkripatamaham vande Paramananda madhavam. Mukham karoti vachalam Pangum langhayate girim Yatkripatamaham vande Paramananda madhavam. He said, I offering my respects to Lord Krishna, Madhava, who is the source of Paramananda, supreme bliss, spiritual Ananda, and by whose mercy, Mukham karoti vachalam, even a dumb man can speak expertly. Pangum langhayate girim, a handicapped fellow can cross over the mountain also very easily. Such is the mercy of the Supreme Lord. The final poem. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaisthaver यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैर् वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगा वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगा ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः सुरासुरगणाय तस्मै नमः. So here I offer my respects unto Lord Krishna, who is worshipped by the great demigods with wonderful elocutions, wonderful chanting by Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, Vayu, all the demigods. They are glorifying Lord Krishna. How they are glorifying? Vedai Sangha Padakramopanishadair Gayanti Yam Samaga. They are singing the Samaveda. The Samaveda, the beautiful recitations glorifying Lord Krishna in Samaveda, Vedas, Upanishads. While following the word sequence, Vedai Sangha Krama-upanishadai, Krama, in a very order, nice order, they are singing and glorifying the Lord. And dhyana avastita tadgatena manasa pashyanti yam yoga. The yogis, they are always absorbed in Lord Krishna. They are always taking darshan of the Paramatma in the heart. Their mind is always absorbed in the beautiful form of Lord Krishna. Yasyantam na vidussura suragana devaya tasmai namaha. Yasya antam na vidu. Antam, the end, na, no, not, vidu, knowing. Even the sura and asura, devas and asuras, even they don't know the end of the glories of the Lord Krishna. So in this way, Shankaracharya giving a glimpse of how Mahabharata, how the situation is, and how Krishna is crossing over this, making the Pandavas to cross over this ocean of war, and how Bhagavad Gita is Ashtadasha-adhyayana, like the Devi with 18 hands blessing, and Vyasadeva, how he enlightened this Mahabharata with the Bhagavad Gita. Mahabharata is just like, lamp, but in that oil and light, that is Bhagavad Gita. And how Krishna is riding the chariot and blessing Arjuna with Jnana Mudra, giving divine knowledge, which is our today's shloka, that how Bhishma is glorifying the Lord here, that he gave this transcendental knowledge, Jnana, to Arjuna. So you can see Krishna putting Jnana Mudra and giving this, instructing this transcendental knowledge onto Arjuna. So I'll stop here. Any questions? Any questions? Antrat Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Tai Gaur Preman.